Hello, my name is Abigail. I'm here with ReBreak News, and today we're talking with John Alexander about the impact of drug and alcohol usage and how it impacts our city. Stay tuned. So, John, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. We were just wondering, with Dundee as a city, we recognise that there is quite a lot of drug usage and alcohol abuse in our city, and it has a really detrimental effect and impact as one could imagine. What would you say the extent of this impact is and how it impacts our city just generally?
It's huge. I mean, obviously it has a direct impact on the whole social fabric of the whole city.
Yeah.
And you only have to walk 5 minutes from this office to be able to see the effects of drug use in the city more generally. But it's the impact it has on individuals for me that's the most concerning thing. So obviously people are losing their lives on a yearly basis in the city of Dundee, and that's unacceptable. Those are, daughters and sons and fathers and mothers.
Yeah.
And in no civilised society should that ever be acceptable, and it's not acceptable in Dundee either. But it's also that wider impact that it has on families, that it has on communities, that really rips people apart.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in their right mind would ever say that this is a choice. People never chose those types of lifestyles. They've made bad decisions throughout their life perhaps, or been led down that path, but we need to do more as a society to help those people.
Yeah, and you mentioned families. Something really interesting, I came across a statistic that said that in Dundee as a city, there's a higher proportion of women who use drugs as compared to other cities in Scotland, and as a result of that, there's a more of an impact on potentially the family unit and young people growing up in households with parents. And again, this doesn't just extend to women, but just parents in general who use substances. How do you think this affects young people as an issue growing up in these sort of households?
I mean, young people speak for themselves and tell us the impact it's had. We've got some fantastic ambassadors for people who have that real life experience that are able to articulate it better than I ever could. But you look across the board and as I say, it rips families apart, but it's the impact on the people that are left behind that is irreparable.
Yeah.
And that's a real concern for me, and particularly, as you say, young people, because the mother is often, we're a very matriarchal kind of society in that sense. The mum's at the head of the family in many ways. And so if the mother is the one that is using drugs and that's creating the chaos within that family unit, that's really difficult. And we see too many children who are in the care system as a result of some of those chaotic situations. Dundee has a higher prevalence of the number of children with that care experience, and we've got a number of programs in place to help that, but ultimately we never want it to get to the stage where we need to put that help in place. We don't want people using drugs in the first place, and we've got to do more on that education piece. And
you're speaking about people not really getting into drugs in the first place. Prevention is better than finding potentially just stopping this widespread culture of using drugs. Preventing people from starting is a big topic, but with that as well as people who are who grew up in households where drug use or alcohol abuse was common. There's a higher probability that they will themselves use substances and become addicted. So what do you think we can do, or what is there that can be done for these people who are more susceptible in a way, you could say, to falling into the habits of addiction?
There's a whole series of things. It's a really complicated issue, and there's issues of poverty and deprivation. There's the kind of, as you say, drugs and alcohol. It all has a factor and it plays a part in that. So there's no one right remedy, I suppose, to assist those people, and it's about educating people. It's about supporting those young people, perhaps, if they're in that situation, whether that's directly through social work services, through educational services. It's about supporting people at whatever stage they're at. So programs like Breakthrough that are supporting people in secondary schools to get a support network, to see that there is a positive destination, there's a positive way forward for them. They don't have to follow those paths. It's all of that and more. And the strategies that we deploy to address poverty and deprivation hopefully also have an impact, as well as the direct work that we do on tackling drugs use in the city. So if you focus all your eggs in one basket on one issue, then we're going to fail. And what we've got to do is make sure we're trying to address all of them, the whole spectrum of issues.
They're all quite interlinked in some ways. Just finally, what do you think is going forward? What are the plans regarding You mentioned some just there, like about initiatives like Breakthrough.
Yeah.
What are some more plans going forward that can be that could potentially impact this issue and like reduce its prevalence in our city?
Well, I mean, when I first came onto the council, one of the main issues for me to tackle with on day one was drugs use in the city. And so in the immediate aftermath of that, we developed the Drug Commission, the Independent Drug Commission, who came forward with a whole series of really important recommendations. We're now in the stage of implementing them. As part of our budget as a council, we've put in £500,000 of resource to contribute towards that. I'm aware that there's other monies coming through Scottish Government, through the ADP, the Alcohol and Drug Partnership, which I also sit on, NHS resources. So pulling all those resources together, making sure that whilst we've got the momentum and the focus on the issue, we're actually doing something about it, because I'm sick of talking about an issue and not seeing enough action. So action is absolutely where we're going to go from this point forward, and developing strategies to do that. Programmes like Breakthrough, deploying the care review and the issues in that, all really important to make sure that we start to tackle those issues. And again, also tackling issues of poverty and deprivation in the city, which relate directly to the issue of drugs, is really important.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us.
Thank you.
Glad.